Okay. So again, welcome everyone. This training is again about BoldTrail, but specifically and focused on contacts. Because again, BoldTrail as a CRM, client relationship management software, is entirely based around the people that are in the software. Everything else is secondary to your source of income and source of, things to do. All the other stuff in BoldTrail is secondary to, again, the people and how to find them and how to leverage the technology to get in contact with them. So if everyone is in BoldTrail, along the left-hand side, contacts is how you would get into the screen that I'm currently in. Most of the time, if you're an agent, it should default to just your own contacts. You shouldn't have to worry about having to filter or put any assignments to find your own contacts. If you are an admin, that is a little different, but again, with the screen you're in, this is where we're going to do most of our work here today. So the Contacts tab on the left-hand side is, again, where you find all your information. And your BoldTrail platform is astoundingly robust from the moment you log in. It is already primed to smoothly integrate into your business and to be used in conjunction with your current processes and goals. One of the great aspects of BoldTrail is the ability to seamlessly contact your leads using channels like email, phone, SMS text, and premium video messages. Contact statuses. So again, I'm putting this in just because there's a lot of different ways that BoldTrail will reference your contacts on the front end. Severe, contacts you know who may or may not be searching for real estate. So that's everyone that you would add into BoldTrail that isn't necessarily going to be pursued for a real estate sale, but you want them in there out of a, if they need help, they're already in your system for you to work. Also, it allows you to send out those periodic contact emails that you might like once a year, just checking in, seeing how people are doing, because it's that foot in your door that after 4 or 5 years of maybe not talking, you can get back in the forefront of their mind if they are in the process of doing any real estate work or looking. Again, it just gets you in front of them. Prospect, contacts you've met or have information for who you want to convert into a real estate lead. They are not actively searching right now, and your efforts are directed towards getting them to do so. New lead, contacts who have signed up for your website from either an ad or some other lead source, such as an email import. Active lead, contacts who actively return to your website to view properties. Leads who respond to communication who have not responded before will automatically default to active status when they respond for the first time. So that is, they come in as a new lead initially, and then if they start looking at stuff on the website, the system will change them over to active lead on its own. You can change it on your own, but it's not something you necessarily have to, because BoldTrail is tracking the activity of these people as they visit the website. Client, contacts you are actually working with and showing homes to. Contract, contacts who are in the buying or selling transaction process. If a transaction management system is integrated into BoldTrail, dotloop, SkySlope, or DocuSign, and a contact matches, their status will automatically update and indicate they're tied to an existing transaction. So you won't have to necessarily change these on every contact, but they are there to kind of indicate where they might be in that life cycle. Closed, contacts who have completed a transaction. Again, the same thing with that transaction management system. It will integrate if it's tied in. And then archive, contacts you don't intend to work or communicate with. Moving a contact to this status will unsubscribe them from any further automated communication. So if you are cleaning up, like you mentioned, I think, you can go in and mark off certain contacts as archive if you want them to still be in the system but not necessarily be contacted, versus if you don't ever intend to do anything with them, you can even delete them from your contact list. So I'd say the difference between archiving and deleting is there any reason you might want to go back and find their information? Because if you delete them, they're completely gone. If they're archived, you can still go back and look at how they came into the system, their contact information. You just won't necessarily be able to use any of the automated communication methods within BoldTrail to communicate with them. So again, that is just the broad picture of statuses in BoldTrail. Knowing where your contacts are coming from is important for several different reasons. It gives you insight into your marketing efforts and highlights where your ad spend is the strongest and the weakest. It enables you to set up automation in BoldTrail that is specific to the different types of leads you are generating, which helps you convert at a higher rate. And it empowers you to better organize your database and streamline your lines of communication to current and past clients. Your BoldTrail account automatically tracks where each of your contacts come from and displays that source along with other helpful information in the contacts record. By and large, sources are created at the same time leads are created. When multiple leads come in from the same place, they will have the same source name. And that really means, let's say you do a property boost. Everyone here probably knows what property boost is. So if you have a property boost for a property at, say, 5,000 Mary Lane, when those contacts all come into BoldTrail, they're going to share both the same source as well as potentially the same hashtag. We'll get to hashtags later. But it's just so that you can set up your communication around that method they came in. Because I'll just, as an aside, bring up what you would actually do. You have your property boost. Let's say you get 5 contacts coming in that you've never talked to before from the property boost. Your automated communication might be, hey, I noticed you looked at that property at 5,000 Mary Lane. If you're interested in looking at other properties like this, please let me know and we can start working together to get you set up on either a search alert or a back and forth between you and that potential buyer to find out more of what they're looking for. And you could do all this automated wise, and that's what we're going to go through. There are 2 types of source data that you will see in Smart CRM within BoldTrail: source and system source. Source is a high-level view of where the contact came from. Did you manually add them? Did they naturally come across your website? Or were they generated by an ad? System source drills down deeper and shows exactly where the contact came from, how they registered. That way you see the difference in leads generated by your agent website versus leads that come in from your office or team. In order to truly understand and leverage the 2 source data points, you need to know what each source and system source term means. So these are, again, the basic sources. Going down them quickly, direct website is your website. The contact typed the website domain directly into their browser or clicked a link in a BoldTrail generated email or registered from a landing page or a squeeze page. Organic website. The contact clicked an outside link from your bio or office website or from a social media post and or registered from a landing page or squeeze link. Paid marketing, pay per click marketing. The pay per click parameter is a piece of the squeeze page link that tells BoldTrail the link was used for advertising. You should use squeeze page links for ads. It is if a source is not set for a squeeze page, this will show. Refer, the page the person was on before clicking to your BoldTrail website. The source you set in your squeeze or landing page will be referred to as the referrer. Dropbox, this is an email import service you can use in BoldTrail to funnel your new leads from third parties via email. It could be your Dropbox, the office teams that were routed to you. So this is more of an automated method. So if you integrated a certain email where your emails back and forth between you and contacts automatically pulled into BoldTrail, you can do so with Google. So if you're emailing back and forth, BoldTrail will see that if we've integrated Gmail into your BoldTrail suite. And thankfully, I think almost everyone gets the Gmail account that's generated as a result of being as part of Remax. You might not use it a lot, but I will say that is most likely already tied in to your BoldTrail. So if you're not using it, I would at least go back and periodically check it, because sometimes you'll get emails from BoldTrail referencing a lead or referencing a somebody that was transferred over. And if you aren't checking those emails or they're not being forwarded to the email you do check, you might miss something. On the right side, tracked call, the contact called or sent a text to your smart number. Manual add, you manually added the contact. Lead import is the mass import where you might take all of your contacts from Outlook or Apple and put them in all at the same time. Zillow Connect and Zapier are integrations from those applications or programs. Property Boost, again, everyone's clear with Property Boost. It is a contact that was strictly generated from that Property Boost ad click that brought them into your website. Facebook Paid would be, again, similar to Property Boost, but out of a separate Facebook ad buy that BoldTrail would offer. Office 365 are Outlook tied contacts, and Gmail, again, are Gmail. In addition to displaying the source column in your CRM, the contact source is accessible in the summary section on the left-hand side of their contact record. So looking at this one, this is for, who is it? This Wendy, based on a search criteria, interested in Vista with 2 beds and 1 bath around $590,000. Wendy first signed up on 8/11/2021, 19 days ago, and was active 19 days ago. Wendy was generated by paid marketing, source PPC, system source agent website. So that would tell you initially, again, if you had no information on who this Wendy was before you make the call, you can at least see, hey, she was looking at this house or something with this parameters, and then she logged in 19 days ago but hasn't returned since. So it could be maybe she didn't like the house. Maybe something else came up, but it would be a way for you to try to, I don't know, heat the lead back up by using this information to start your conversation. Advanced sources, again, I think we went over this a little bit before, the different ways that contacts can come in. Detailed source information. You can see more specific source information by going into the Profile Details tab at the top of your contact profile. Scroll down until you see the source information. The capture method contains the URL that the lead signed up for. So again, this is, in every contact, there will be some sort of indication of where they were coming from. Using the definitions in the yellow notes box, you can decipher the true source of the lead in the above example. Source, paid marketing. The lead signed up on the BoldTrail website after clicking from a squeeze page that was posted. The squeeze page did not have a source set. Agent website. The lead signed up on the agent's personal BoldTrail website. It was not routed from the team or the office. Refer, facebook.com. The website the lead was on before the click-through took them to the agent website. So what you would do is you would have your squeeze page, you'd post that onto Facebook, and then the people clicking on that Facebook post come back into BoldTrail, and once they sign up, it's going to remember the method they got into BoldTrail from. And the capture method is the exact page that you might have used. So putting all that together, you can assume that most likely this agent posted a squeeze page link on Facebook, which the lead found interesting. They clicked on it and were brought to the agent's website where they registered and became a new lead when they prompted to sign up. Can I change a lead's contact source? You can, but only in a few circumstances. Most of the time you wouldn't need to, because the source isn't something where, again, it matters to the system, it matters to you. As a realtor, it's your bit of information that you can use to start your conversation. Because I'm sure anyone's made a call where, again, you don't know who someone is, but you want to kind of start that conversation. And it's hard when you don't know how they ended up here, what they're interested in. Again, you're starting out cold. This is a way for you to just get that little bit of information so that you can be more personable or see more in the know when you make that call. You know, especially if, again, you know what property they clicked on. You could even say, hey, I know you clicked on that or looked at that property in St. Louis Park. Since that one's now under contract or something and it's not available anymore, can we work together to find you something that is available and that would fit for you or your family? So, if there is a source in the email that is sent to the lead Dropbox, it can set the source if it's imported from the file. So a lot of this stuff, if you're putting in the leads, you can indicate all of this. It will help if, again, even within your contacts of people you know, you need to add a little bit of information so that when it's in the system and you're trying to go through and decide what to do, you can use the terminology that you used when you added the contact to go in and find them. So now I'm going to get into hashtags, because hashtags are really the part of BoldTrail that is going to allow you to better use all the automation and AI that, again, sets BoldTrail apart from its competitors. So I'm in BoldTrail right now. Again, since I'm not a realtor, I have all of the contacts pretty much in the system right now. But what I'm going to focus on, and I think it's something that the hires up in the company would want me to focus on, are these property boosts, which are all the contacts that might get introduced into your system from sources extraneous to things that you're doing. Because the property boosts are being done not just by you personally maybe, but by the company. And those leads are going to come in, pretty much all the time. So I'm going to show you. There's property boost in general. So this hashtag, property boost. Let's see how many contacts. So again, there's over 10,000 currently in our system that match property boost hashtag. Now, if I were to try to just grab a specific property boost, so PB, all the data after PB up there just indicates what property boost address was tied to that. But see, for one specific property, 58 contacts were generated as a result. And again, if you're going into your own, contacts list right now and you want to find that, again, right here on that left-hand side, you can search in the hashtags and just, again, type in PB and think of a recent address that you might have done a property boost for. And then as you're looking through these contacts, how many of these people did you even know about coming into your system?
The property boost is done automatically. Correct?
Yes, the company pays for your property boosts in general, but then there's also the ability, if you have your own listing, to boost on top of the boost. And the reason I focus on them is because these contacts end up slipping in under the, behind the scenes. And if you're not coming into BoldTrail all the time and looking for them, they're going to get cold. And the system will, in a way, if you look up here and see how upset it is with us at what we're not doing, it's trying to indicate, hey, there's all these people that you need to contact. Now, again, I wouldn't get too lost in the numbers and how good or bad you're doing, because the system does not necessarily know all the people that you're contacting outside of the system. Because if you're using your cell phone and you're not going back into BoldTrail to mark off on, say, Daniel Orchard, that you called him, it might say, hey, this guy's never been worked. But if you are, taking, action based on the contacts coming in and doing that on your own, then you don't have to necessarily worry about these task reminders that I'm sure everyone sees in BoldTrail, because you're using your own method of organization or keeping track of them to make sure you're not letting them get too cold. And it's good I clicked in, because this is, if you're going to start looking contact to contact, the main screen you're going to be on most circumstances. So again, looking at Daniel, we got a phone number, we got email. We can see down here he came in as a property boost, an open house boost for that Heritage Lane. Based on the search criteria, interested in Orono with 3 beds, 3 bath, around 1.425. Signed up on 3/5, was generated by Property Boost. And again, I actually worked with this realtor directly on trying to sell his house. So this is a direct result of work we did together to try to get more people to come and look at this, And again, the other thing with this is your ability to bring people in is, again, based around your leverage you have in this market. So if you have properties, if you have listings, do your best to get those listings out as much as you can, because the more you get them out, whether it's paid via Property Boost, whether it's unpaid via your own promotion on social media, the more you get these houses and assets in front of people, the more you can get them back in to start working on other stuff. So again, going in, you can see in here as it opens up. Again, if the end user or customer were to get to this site, it would be at the point of them clicking on stuff that after 1 or 2 clicks, the system is going to pop up that it forces them to register. That is your goal. Get them here, get them to any of the, I'd call them sub pages to your website. So up here on the top, you see toddallen.therealestateadvantage.com. All of these under pages are, I'd say, children of your parent website. So a listing, a squeeze page, a custom page you might make yourself. You're just getting them into your contact sphere so that they have to leave behind information if they want to look anymore. That's the nice thing about BoldTrail, is it does not let somebody just come in and just like a thief in the night, look at all the stuff and leave. It's going to try to track them. It's going to try to keep track of who they are and where they're coming from, because it's in the benefit not only of you as the agent, but BoldTrail to get as much information from these people as possible. So going back here, we'll go back to the contact and go over a bit more of, again, if you are starting from scratch clicking on a contact, most of the time I tell someone to scroll all the way down to the bottom, because the very first selection down here is how they came into the system. So on March 5th at 3:15, they viewed the property. It immediately added the hashtags, added a custom note to Dennis, and with no rule, a rule is one of those automated messaging campaigns you have, it just put them on default. Assigned it to Dennis, contact opted in to SMS messaging, which is important that once a contact gets created, by default, most of the time, they are unable to be texted until they opt into allowing us to reach out via that method. They registered, the campaign put them onto the new lead buyer campaign. A new task was created for Dennis to kind of go back and check on them. The system predictive score is, again, BoldTrail doing its AI analysis of who this person is, whether or not the contact information appears to be accurate and workable. You can't trust it 100%, but I'd say most of the time their predictive analytics are accurate enough to trust for your first call. Again, these are the automated emails. These aren't emails that Dennis went and sent directly. These are ones that the system generated as a result of the automated smart campaign that was assigned. And going back up, the last contact is, again, it just sending listings back and forth to this person. So right now I would say this lead is in a, I would say they probably have not been contacted by Dennis. I know him personally from having worked with him. I doubt he's even seen this person. And I also know from his smart campaigns that it's running without him realizing, because I'm on his smart campaign. So I get periodic texts from Dennis if I want to buy a house, because I added myself in his contact list. I'm actually going to go turn myself off. Which, again, if you want to find out how to turn off a smart campaign, this is how. So I'm going to go search for the agent, Dennis. I'm going to remove the hashtag. So this is all his contacts, and I'm going to go find myself. There I am. And down here is why I'm getting emails from him. That most clients can't do this. They can't go and turn off their own smart campaign. But since I'm not his client, that's all it is. If a client reaches out to you and says, hey, can you stop sending me those emails? That's all you have to do. Click into the contact, and just, again, right on the right-hand side under active campaigns, just click remove. You can pause the campaign if you're just at the point of maybe they're not looking now but might in the future. The search alert is, again, the system's going to periodically send me properties between 1.14 million and 1.7 million. I don't think I'm going to buy a house that much. So I am going to delete my search alert until such a point as I'm looking again. And now, again, looking back in the contacts timeline, again, so there it shows me signing up from his direct website. And the reason I signed up from his direct website is in the midst of helping him with his open house for his house that he was selling. I had to visit his website enough. I just registered as a result of having to go and look at what a customer would see if we were generating these sources. So again, I don't think Dennis did any of this on his own. Oh, go ahead.
On the campaigns, I
Yeah.
there I can remove it, pause, restart.
Yep.
How can I choose to change a different?
We can go right through that. So again, if you're in the midst of your contacts and you find that some of these smart campaigns are being added too much and that you're concerned that it's grabbing too many people, by just using the search bar on the top of the screen, you can type in smart campaign, and that'll take you right to this screen. You can also find it by going along the left-hand side to lead engine, or actually, wait, nope, marketing, and then down here under smart campaigns. So whichever method you use to get there, it should take you to this screen. Then what I would say, my campaigns are the ones that are primarily your own smart campaigns in the system. You might not have generated these yourself, but the system offers you defaults just as a result of being part of Remax. So along the right-hand side, you'll see company, company, company. These are the company smart campaigns that are automatically there for you. There's also system libraries of all the other campaigns that we can use.
I'm lost.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, can you go back?
Oh, yeah, yep, I'll go back
If you go
to,
this lower, that'd be great.
oh yeah, no
Can you
problem.
go back
So again,
When we're back to how I got to find campaigns.
smart campaign. So again, two methods. Your search bar on the top of the screen, I would leverage as much as you can. They've recently updated this in the last couple months, and it's much, much better about finding what you're looking for. So if you are looking for smart campaigns, you can type it in and go right there to marketing,
Okay.
or on the left-hand side, marketing is the megaphone, and then down in marketing, manage campaigns gets you in here as
But
well.
I still feel like I did this before, but then on that client screen, when you want to go to add a campaign, when you click on it, there's no campaigns ever to add.
And the reason why is you might not have any that are active. So your campaigns, when we
Yep.
create them, there is a selection whether or not we want to make it always run or even to make it active. So I'm going to make a new campaign just so I can show you guys why. Again, today I would,
Yeah,
oh, go ahead.
This is what frustrates me about this. You have to always go to 17 steps just to make one thing happen.
Yep.
This is my problem with now Bold, is to make anything happen, you have to go 17 steps just to add a campaign. I have to do all of this instead of add a campaign. I should just have that. There's a drop-down box. This is where I would like that drop-down box to give me this option right here.
And I think the reason why it's not available by default is when the system turns on all the smart campaigns by default, that automation just starts running. So if they set everything to just be on by default, then any contact that comes in is going to be grabbed and stuff's going to just start going out. And some realtors like that and some don't, given the fact that it kind of just throws out a wide net and grabs everybody.
And I get that, but that's why this whole platform is super hard to use, because there are so many like background things that you have to figure out to use to get one automated thing to go up.
Yep, and I think as a company, we can do better
I like to think
sharing.
fairly use, like, I've got all my, I've used this for quite a bit, but
Mhm.
it's very cumbersome.
No, and it can be. It can be, given that the automation requires a lot of forethought on your trigger mechanisms and your selection mechanism. And I'll just kind of take an aside to share what I mean by that. So the trigger mechanism is this. Hashtag is property boost. That is the trigger so that any contact coming into BoldTrail, if they have property boost as a hashtag, which again is added automatically by the system when they come in, our smart campaign we're going to set up right now is simply to take those contacts that you never are going to touch personally and just set up your first communication points with them, so that, again, we don't have to think of all the contacts in your contact list and any contact you think of in the future. We're primarily focused today just on property boost and how to get this set up for everyone. And I can even set up this smart campaign and then share it with all of you today so that you can start using it. And then all you guys have to do is change your wording so that we don't have 30 people in the room sending the same message to the same set of property boost people. You just have different verbiage between the 30 different realtors so that it's individualized enough to stand out. Because if I were to just set up a property boost campaign and give it to everyone, then that potential property boost contact might get 50 text messages. And out of that 50 text messages, if they're exactly the same, how are they going to decide which realtor to reach out to? It's just going to be a game of, roulette or chance. Like, you got it by the fact that you were the first one. But if the system sends all of those emails at the same time, that, potential client might not want to work with us at all, because their email is now inundated with 50 emails from RE/MAX from 50 different realtors. But again, I'm not going to try to make this too confusing for just the fact that right now I'm, again, just focused on, I only want to focus on people coming from Property Boost.
Hey, Todd.
Yeah, go ahead.
Can you also go to the hashtag, can you try to put in ENT property boost, enterprise property boost,
Sure.
just to see if that also goes in there?
ENT.
I think the feedback that she's, to expand on what she's saying, is like,
Well, no, what I
Nope.
do with property boost.
like I have a Spanish degree.
Yep.
Like, my experience with technology is military grade, 30 years old type stuff,
Mhm.
right? So like, to go in and try and take this stuff on while also becoming, trying to create content and
Mhm.
figure out social media without that even really truly being integrated with this. We're literally trying to learn 6 different platforms
Ah.
at any given point in time, with algorithms changing. and
Oh,
tools changing within
I get how hard it is.
so like, my question is, why hasn't Before, with how big they are, tried to reformat this so that it's
Because they, again, I've worked directly with BoldTrail and KV Core now for a year and gotten behind the front end to talk to their tech trainers directly. And it's because they're not thinking about any of us as individuals. They're only looking at their mass data that they're getting back, and making decisions as a company based on every realtor being exactly the same. They're saying that based on their automated communication, this is what works best. And to me, and I brought this up to them, their data is flawed. Their data is flawed based on the fact that not all sales are tracked within BoldTrail. Not all transactions are tracked in BoldTrail. Not even the contacts that realtors make to these people are tracked in BoldTrail. So I brought up, I'm like, your information is flawed because, or your assumption is flawed because the information you're going off of is solely based on what they're seeing on the backside. And again, I bring up individual realtors' concerns with them as I work with them, because I don't think, personally, that smart campaigns should be on by default, because there's just as many people you're going to turn off as you're going to get in. Your old, contacts might get upset that you're sending them this stuff. And my whole goal is, if, again, after this, you want to set up a one-on-one, you'll learn way more from me working one-on-one in an hour than taking this training and just like running with it.
I do have to say, and I will give credit, if anybody, it does take a lot of time, and I feel like I've learned a lot more just by watching the videos.
Yeah.
Like the videos on here do a good job.
Yeah.
Again, it's like now is probably not the season to do it, but when you have nothing to do in December, that's probably the time to spend doing it.
Yeah, and
But
just
it's hard. But I'm just saying, it's very frustrating. Like when you go into your clients and you want to run a marketing campaign,
Yep.
I would just like to do the drop down and click which one I want to run, and maybe some options. It's just and maybe it's just my age. I'm sorry, I'm old, but to have to click which hashtag I want, how do I want to click it, where I want my property views to come from. It's just a whole new learning generation.
Oh, yeah. No,
And so as I'm on now, starting I'm on the campaign, I'm still looking back. Yeah.
Oh, it's okay.
But so it is, it's just a whole new learning piece.
So
but
I would.
Sorry to.
Oh no, you're good. I want your input because I'm not a realtor. I'm a tech trainer that's focused strictly on how to accomplish something that you guys want to do.
Yeah.
I'm not thinking about it based on like, how do you integrate this into your everyday. Go ahead.
I've got one more thing. So 2 things company-wide. I can work with Todd too, and we can create easier campaigns.
Give me pictures.
And
Oh, yeah.
less, because
I have
some of
guides. I have-
The ones that are in there are like a lot. It's a lot of text, it's a lot of tasks, it's a lot of that. He and I can sit down and talk about easier ways. You can then clone that campaign and add steps to it if you want to.
Yep.
That's thing 1. Thing 2, if you guys have certain things on the platform you're looking to have updated, let me know. Eric and I have done a lot with KV4 on the back end of like, they never believed in my listing my lead. So we built out an entire workflow to make sure that anytime you guys are boosting properties or we're boosting properties, every single lead goes to you, no matter where it's from. So if you're looking for certain things, let me know, because Eric and I will run it up the tree and try to get it going on.
Yep. And if you do want the pictorial, like how to, yep. So this is one that BoldTrail made up. So this is really in depth. But what I'm doing, and I had to redo all these because they changed from KV Core to BoldTrail. So all my old trainings, you can kind of follow them, but the buttons are different, or they've moved where the buttons are. And I will, and again, personalize them down to the realtor, give you a screen by screen, here's what to click, here's how to do it to accomplish any of these tasks that you want to do. Because that is the kind of thing that I pride myself on, is that I'm not going to train everyone the same way. If one person wants a physical page to go back and forth on, I'll give you that. If you want me to record myself going through this so that you can follow, like listen to the recording as I walk through and click the buttons for you, I've done trainings that way. I gear the trainings to the individual because it needs to be effective for you to learn. I am not in charge of how everyone learns. But the reason I brought that up is because I will, again, give you a breakdown, step by step, click by click on how to get this. And then, as Miranda brought up, we can set these up so you can just use ours as your template.
Because I think everybody has different campaigns, I think, that they think are important to their client.
Yep. And I mean,
not every campaign, not each of us are going to want the same campaign.
no, and I agree. And out of the people I've worked with, though, very, very few have a lot of personalization in the campaigns.
Yeah.
Most people are just using defaults. So my goal is to kind of, for the people I've touched in the company, get you away from standardized defaults that don't differentiate you from the person next to you. If everyone's using the exact same defaults, the exact same default website, the exact same communication methods, how is a customer supposed to choose? You have to, in some way, give that bit of your personal self in these that will set you apart. And it's something as easy as, like, I've thought, like these welcome videos that, I'll bring up what I helped I think it was Orono office, or Waconia office, carvercountyexperts.com. So this is one of our, Laketown Realty Group. But the video we have in the background is just from the, Chamber of Commerce. So the agents didn't produce this video. They didn't generate it, but these scrolling Vista videos, these well-produced, videos showing the areas, make a much better impression on somebody for the first email they may get from us than that generic text email that says, hey, are you looking for properties? Go ahead, Miranda.
I'd say just for time, try to do your best to follow along, but he and I will work together, we'll create some, obviously not everybody's the same. We
Yeah.
want you to be able to edit it, but just time savings. Try to
Oh, yeah. Nope.
try to follow along, and then Todd's available to be one-on-one.
Oh, yeah, definitely. So, but again,
To your point,
Yep.
excuse me.
Yeah.
To your point, Miranda, I think for this exercise, for the contacts, it would be so helpful to capitalize on the property boost that the company is putting out. So if you get a new listing, you're getting these leads, and then, but you need to build the script behind it.
Yep.
So if you just would prepare a small sample of what that would look like.
yep, that's what we're going to
that
do
would
right now.
be probably the beginning of your demise.
Love it.
So, here we go. So I made a new one. Where are you? Oh. Where'd it go? Just generated. Oh, there it is. Okay, didn't seem like it was there at first. Again, this is the one I just made. Property Boost default campaign. This button right here is why when you were breaking up in your contacts list, you couldn't add it. It's not, if it's not active, it's not going to let you add it on the contacts side. So if I were to go here to contacts, I'm going to go find myself. Okay. Okay. Todd. Okay. Here's another one of me in the system. So again, I was on a smart campaign here. Add. So the only one that this Laura had available was the default lead new buyer. Any other campaigns that we mark as active will start showing up in that active campaign list. So again, I would only activate campaigns you plan to use so that we don't end up having them get thrown onto other contacts by accident. But the trigger process is how we restrict it from going too far. Is that if we were to use the trigger as, say, it's just a new lead can be many different sources and actually grab more people than we might want, versus, as you brought up, wanting to focus on the property boost, this strictly focuses on contacts that come in for you from property boost, and then the actions we're going to take are solely based on trying to capture within that first, I'd say, week or two, are they going to be communicative? Because you're going to know within 2 weeks, I'd say, if a contact coming in from Property Boost is interested at all, or if they're just one of those leads that's just going to dead end. Right here in Share Campaign, I'm going to be able to share that with you guys when we're done. I'm going to activate it, and then I'm going to start building it up. So again, this is created by me at the company level. And right here, the very first thing I'm going to do is set up the first email that the system is going to use to reach out to this person. So there is a, are you looking for homes? The one I am going to use is going to be primarily focused on property boost. And that, did something catch your eye? So I'm using this just as it gives me some text to work with, but I'm not going to use this text exactly. It would be thinking verbiage around this person clicked on an ad on Facebook for a property that we might not know anything about. We don't know how many bathrooms, we don't know how many baths, we don't know the specific details of that property to gear our conversation to this person. So I'm using a general idea of, hey, that property caught your eye. Is there a way we can use that attention grab now to start our conversation on what we can help you with going forward? So I'm going to just start rewriting it. Good. I noticed you clicked, what is it? I saw that you were interested in the property in that new listing, and I was hoping to start a conversation on what you are looking for in this market. Is there any specific details or any specific criteria for your housing search that will help me start gathering details? Look at. And I don't necessarily like my own verbiage, but the thing is, if you are like me sometimes, and the hardest part is figuring out what to say. I don't know how many of you leverage ChatGPT or the AI available out there, but GPT. But the reason I brought it up is if you were to just want a few different, ones to go between, I sometimes use this OpenAI. Come on. Let's get me in. Try first. Okay. So, please provide me 3 different versions of this initial greeting email. So what I'm doing with this is I'm trying to use ChatGPT essentially to give me a few different ideas of how we would want to word that first email. And the thing is, you guys could go and just each pick a version. And each individualized smart campaign, because what I would do is I would share the general campaign with you guys based on my, verbiage, my initial emails, and then each person would essentially go in and just change out a little bit of the text. There's also methods, let me see here, when it comes to personalizing, and this is more nuanced, but the system allows us to use these ideas of the system will personalize the emails down to the individual. As it can say, good morning. Here, I have to move the criteria or the selection point. But it is allowing you to personalize these first emails without even having to go in and do it yourself. As the system will say, good morning, contact's first name. I saw that you were interested in that new listing. I was hoping to start a conversation. And then, what is it? Agent first name. From agent to contact after 1 minute.
Okay, I have one question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Will it fill in if you don't put those brackets in
What it would do is,
Underscores.
it would be, you don't have to integrate the system looking for the person's name and referencing them based on the name. It's a personalized tool within BoldTrail, so that instead of just saying good morning, no what pronoun or designation, it's good morning Todd, good morning Joe. The system will just integrate that in with its emails.
But I'm saying it won't do that unless you specifically put that in.
Exactly.
Okay.
That and most of this, what I would do when I would end up sharing the campaign with any of you, it would already be set up so that these are built in. That the client's first name is referenced in the emails. That at the end of it, it references your name. And it's not that each smart campaign has to have your own name in the field here. It just has to have agent first name, agent last name in there so that it goes and grabs your info before it sends the email out. So what is this? First email property.
Now, if it grabs your name, it won't do like a signature, right? So like if we wanted a signature.
Oh, you do have in your profile a place to put that in yourself. So where is it? Yeah, in your profile.
If you did agent like that, then it would grab your signature?
Yep, right here.
Okay.
Include signature on all outgoing
Okay, I'm
emails.
sorry, how did you get there? Profile.
Your profile up in the top right-hand side gets you into you.
Okay.
And then that's where, again, you would go, you'd have your about me, you can introduce your signature, you can integrate all your social media in here, change out your background picture. Again, this is one of those ones that, you should be able to do it once and then never have to go back again. Unless, again, you are changing things or you're wanting to change your background picture. Again, most of this is once you set it for your first time, it's done from then onward.
Okay, so let's say there's a signature in here.
Yep.
So instead of what you just had,
You wouldn't have to have agent first name in there, but again, it might.
what would you have to have there to get the signature there?
The signature is going to be automatic because it is individualized to the agent. So if your signature is on your profile, and I give you that smart campaign, it's going to add your signature in. If somebody else, no matter what you do, but if somebody else doesn't have their signature set up and they use the same smart campaign, it's just going to be blank because it doesn't know that person doesn't have their signature set up already.
Okay.
So, but it wouldn't be too bad. Let's say it had your first name and then a signature underneath. I still think that looks good. An automated signature, someone might not necessarily think you personalized sent that email. But if it has your first name, like, hey, Todd, I saw you saw the property at 1500. Did that catch your eye? Is there something about this property that spoke to you? Would you like me to help you find other properties like this? That kind of thing. It's to the customer, you're trying to come across as, I took some time to think about you and send this email. Even if you didn't take any time to think about them and send the email, and it's the automated, thought process we did ahead of time, we want them to feel like they are thought about. We want them to feel like they are individualized. Because in this changing real estate market, that's the only way we can set ourselves apart. The more and more automation that's going to be used, the more consumers are going to just feel like just a number. And I don't think that in the long term we're going to do as well for our customers if we treat every single one of them as a number and solely focus on just throwing automation at a wall and trying to capture as many. You have to have thoughtful, processes behind the scenes so that the automation works in the way we want and does not turn off people in the process of trying to get people. Again, going back to the smart campaign, if I go here, smart campaign, okay. And if you have issues as you're trying to scroll, Inside Real Estate loves to put this big blue bar up on the top of your screen. Click the X. Otherwise, you'll have half the screen not even be able to be seen. So that's just a glitch, I'd say, within BoldTrail to keep in mind. Those big bars up on top just kind of hide buttons from you. But again, my Smart Campaign, I got the first email. I could build this from scratch. There is also a way I can clone a campaign. If I go back here and I'll go to the system library. And most people's knowledge of Smart Campaigns or involvement with Smart Campaigns is just these default. Default active buyer. Nope, not that one. Default. I think it's new lead. There we go. So this is most of the time the Smart Campaign that people have seen and customers have gotten contacted from. It's a default campaign the company created and offered out to almost everyone. And the only reason I came to it is because I want to use this potentially as my starting point to make a property boost Smart Campaign. I want it to always run. Target buyers. I'm going to call it default property boost cloned campaign. And the reason I'm doing this as opposed to the way I started before, starting from scratch, is because now all these tasks are already pre-generated within the Smart Campaign. Now all we got to do is go in and change them. So I will make it active. Yep. Then what I would do is it says new lead, it says system to agent, send a text. So it's not sending a text, it's telling you guys to send a text. I don't primarily use those because most agents aren't going to go in here and look for the tasks and react on the task. So I'm also removing the call because, again, my main thing is what is the immediate action that the Smart Campaign is going to take when it finds this property boost contact coming in. Hey, thanks for requesting property info on our site. Just curious, are you actively looking for a property or just browsing right now? So again, this is so vague because Inside Real Estate essentially said, this is the best way that you can send the first email to customers. That's what their data is saying. I disagree, given the fact that if everyone's using it, how is the customer going to know which one to click on? But you see that agent first name thing? This is, again, the system is just pre-generating a, what? It looks like you personally typed out that text message. You know what I mean? It's not looking like this is a automated text if you were to pick it up on your phone. Because again, it's not going to come through and say agent first name. If it did, yes, it's going to turn off that customer. But again, it's just getting your foot in the door for them. Going back, again, that's the first email at day 1. So minute 7, it sends the text. The next day, 1 day after they come in, it sends this email. Thanks for checking out my website. Are you looking to buy soon, or are you just browsing at this point?
Do you have a list of all these little codes?
The agent first name, agent last name, office name,
Yeah, all
agent
these
cell phone.
little things.
Yep, I got that in my guide at the end, just like a glossary. And I mean, most of the time, for the average realtor, if you are only focused on the text in between, you don't ever have to touch the anything within the parameters. You're solely focused on changing out the thanks for checking out, blah, blah, blah.
So the templates already have those in.
Yep, and we're just changing out the text in between so that there's individualized, it's individualizing it to stand out. Because the realtors I never work with are going to only have defaults. They're only going to have default campaigns. They're only going to have default messaging. you'll stand out simply by being different from them. Simply by having your email or your text message coming into the contact read differently than the person next to you. And it's not that I would honestly say you have to think from a psychological perspective on how to convince someone to talk to you. It's mainly just like, hey, I am a resource for you. You know, a lot of times I think people get turned off by people trying too hard or the system trying too hard. I am not really worried that you have to try too hard to get someone to visit our website or talk to us. Our assets are what are going to draw them in. The assets being listings. The assets being a nice website that has important information on there to look at. You know, I bring up my website. The, what is it? So, well, I'm not a realtor. Again, if I were to try to get people to come in, I just want to get them here. I want to get them onto my page so that they can start looking at stuff and get captured. Because the property boost gets them clicking on a single listing. But then the emails might get them to then visit your website. And then let's say they visit your website and they see, you know, I brought up on mine, the featured areas tab, which some people like for the fact that, again, you can personalize your pictures of where you focus your work on, if there's a specific geographical location you sell a lot of houses on, or, again, you know that there's a market that is, again, drawing a lot of interest in this area, you can leverage that and put that in the forefront of your website so that when people come in, the system will generate a list of houses that match the criteria that we've set up. And this personalized website stuff is what I normally do with realtors on my first one-on-one, is we take your default website, which is just, you know, standard out of the box, and we just start customizing it to work for you. Same thing with the smart campaigns. We take the base and then we just add in any personal touches to set you apart from the person next to you. Again, going back here to the smart campaign, I will use something like this for my, what I'm going to share with everyone. What I would be doing, though, is I'm clearing out tasks that are going to clutter your system. I don't feel like the vast majority of you have enough time to go into BoldTrail and track every single call you're making. So I'm mainly looking at this smart campaign being a communication method between the system or you and these property boost contacts. And again, it goes out for, what, 720 days. I'm going to remove back the vast majority of those contact points because you don't need 2 years worth of contacts to figure out if somebody's going to work with you. The likelihood that someone will respond to a text at day 570 that wouldn't have responded on day 1 or day 7 or day 14 is so low. If somebody was going to be interested, they're going to be interested within, I'd say, that first 30 days. You know, that gives people a chance, like if they haven't gone and checked their email in a while, you capture them at that point where maybe the first email is way back in their inbox, but the one on day 27 gets at the forefront of it. And most of these clicks, since I've done it for you, if I were to share the campaign, you're solely going to have maybe 3 to 5 contact points that you have to edit. Again, I'm removing back down to, okay, remove, and the vast majority of these you see after the first, you know, 100 days is just calls. Every month it says, try to make a call. It's not a bad idea, but I don't think the system telling you to make a call to 50 people is going to be actionable for the vast majority of realtors.
Is there a faster way to do this?
Once I'm done, you won't have to click all these buttons.
Okay.
Again, I'm clicking them on your behalf so that the campaign I share, you don't have to go edit 40 emails. You only have to edit the ones that are, again, tied to, here we go, those first 30 days. And there's going to even be, within that, I'm removing the calls and the tasks so that there is less white noise for people to get distracted by. So you see here, these are the only communications now left over. Minute 7, text. Day 1, email. Day 2, text. Day 3, email. Day 5, setup. Alert text. Day 17, time to chat. Day 20, email. Day 30, property caught your eye. So the verbiage now, let's say first buyer email. Okay, we looked at that one. Let's see the investor one. And if you don't like the investor one, just remove it. If you feel like the people coming in from a property boost, the likelihood that they're an investor is so low that this might not be an effective email whatsoever. I don't think there's a lot of investors with Facebook accounts that are getting ads offered to them. So if I were to say, hey, I don't think that investor email is an effective one, we just go and remove it. Buyer second email, right here. Hey, if it's helpful, I'd be more than willing to walk through a couple of properties with you. I can also connect you with a recommended lender who can answer mortgage questions. Let me know. No pressure either way. So it's, again, it feels personalized, but it's not, because this is the default. Everyone that would have this campaign active from the default is going to send that exact same wording. The only difference might be, you saw the agent first name, agent last name. That's the only personalized difference between them. Versus if, again, you don't have to take very long to reword it, you could, again, just throw it into ChatGPT and take out the, the reworded email and just throw that back in there. Because ChatGPT, if everyone uses it, it might look like we're all the same again. But AI isn't going to be used by every single realtor in RE/MAX. I just feel like the vast majority of realtors get stuck on, well, crap, I don't necessarily like how it sounds. I don't feel it represents me the best. And that's the hardest thing, until I've got to know a realtor, I can't set up a smart campaign with your voice as the guiding principle I use to design it. But as we work together and, again, look at the data, we're going to have actionable data within, I'd say, a month or two if you have Property Boost coming in. All we got to look at is how many of these people coming in from Property Boost are starting to click on stuff. How many people from these Property Boosts are starting to send emails back? And without even going into your contacts list, after a week or two of using this, you could just go in your dashboard, scroll down here, and see, again, Christina wants you to stop. But, these other guys might be like, hey, please make sure I can see association dues. So you have to take action based on then those responses. And then as soon as you get somebody to respond, you can even go in and turn off the smart campaign, because you've got them. The Property Boost smart campaign I'm setting up today is, in my mind, just the hook. We're throwing out these hooks that people have come into our pool, and we're using our Property Boost smart campaign as just throwing our bobber in and seeing who will bite. And then once they bit, then it's up to us, working together and you checking into KV Core or BoldTrail, or looking at your emails from BoldTrail that, hey, you have a contact that came in, they've responded to your smart campaign, and now they just need more personal touch. And it isn't even, you have to call them every day. It could just be something as simple as, like this, Julia. Let's say Julia responded and gave you a little information about what she's looking for. Then if we go into her, we could set up a search alert to just give her, maybe once a week, properties in Orono. Or you could draw on a map the area that she's looking in. Let's say she's looking in Minneapolis and St. Paul, and due to, commute, she doesn't want to go too far. By going in here, we could literally say, okay, this person is, let's say, only looking for the first ring suburbs. So we draw on the map, and I would just kind of draw around to grab. It's not a specific city, but it gives that person a semi-personalized email each week with different properties to look at. And again, if people start responding to our Property Boost emails, the system will set up these search alerts for them. By them going in to my website and clicking through from Bloomington to start looking at these properties, the system will do this for you. We don't have to manually set up a search alert for every person. It's getting our communications out so that the likelihood somebody is going to come back, click on our email, click on that insert your website to the email. It's just, can we get them back again? Their first time clicking on something or getting into BoldTrail or your website was strictly based on Property Boost showing up on Facebook. Now we're trying to, not bait the hook, but, tug on it to let them know we're still here. To, again, keep giving them helpful, either information or helpful, search results that guide them back to us for more work. Because we can't force them to work with Remax, but we can set ourselves apart by saying, hey, that property that you clicked on isn't necessarily available anymore. But that doesn't mean we can't work together. That doesn't mean that I can't help you find one that is right for you. And again, if you feel like, you're looking at my screen, that, these criteria are bringing up houses that are way more than you think that this individual would be interested in, we can edit our search alert or edit our website to narrow down the listed properties to a specific price point to, again, make sure that you're customizing or gearing your search results to things that people are going to want. I'm not going to send, someone who's looking for a $300,000 house, properties that are worth $1.4 million. It's not going to feel good to that person that the vast majority of the houses they're being told about aren't within their price point. But it's, for us, gearing our process around the greatest number of people limits how much individual work you have to do. And
How do you change it on the website?
on the website, it would be this. So in BoldTrail, if you go into your Web and IDX, let's see, Web. Website manager. So on your website, everyone has a BoldTrail KV Core website that is pre-generated. What I did on mine is I introduced a featured areas widget, which the company does offer by default. So where is it? Featured areas.
Widgets. What's a widget?
Widget is extra stuff on your website. So on mine, I'll show you the standard website comes with your bio. It comes with listings. Again, I wish I could just have somebody's that was very, very default because I've customized mine a lot. So let me see if I can go back. I've customized that one. So back here, let's just see. I just went with the first person's name. See if I can show you guys just what a generic website looks like. Yeah, this is pretty generic. I don't know who this Abby is. Hopefully you're not in the room. I don't think you are. But again, the background picture, I think they probably added themselves. But other than this is a default out-of-the-box KV Core website or BoldTrail website. You wouldn't stand out from anyone else because the vast majority of these selections are going to be on every single person's website who works within Remax.
Okay, so what you're saying is to change that, I have to do widgets?
Well, it's not necessarily widgets, but it's, you change your background picture, potentially. Or we go in here, and I don't want to change it for Abby because I'm not working with her, but it's within 15 minutes, we could customize your website like mine to just stand out from the default. But it's scaling these processes to the realtors in general is the difficult part. Is that my work is personalized to the point of with each realtor, I try to find out what is going to set your website or you apart from the person next to you. Is there a specific type of property that you focus on? Is there a type of service that you offer that's outside the norm? I mean, sometimes it's the realtor does side work. So they have an Airbnb. They have this side job. They, do web blogging. You can leverage your side business or your side interests into your website because it can draw people in. We can create content on your website to bring people in, not necessarily just from a realty standpoint, but from a who are you and what do you use to speak to people? What is your method of individualizing yourself in this market to stand out from the person next to you? Because, most of BoldTrail is treating every single one of us as if we're the same. It's every single realtor has to use the same playbook. Every single realtor has to act the same way when it comes to representing themselves to customers. And I don't like that given the fact that we've all been a consumer and felt like we were just a number. Felt like, no one's taking any time or effort to help us directly. They're just going through the motions. And again, I want to bridge that technical gap for the vast majority of people that stands in the way of you personalizing. Because if the hardest part is finding out what buttons to click, finding out, okay, I have an idea of something I want to do, how do I achieve it? We work together to get that done, whether it's one-on-one directly or whether I make a guide or a training strictly around accomplishing that goal. And that's why what I did with the SMART campaign is strictly here so that if I were to now share this, make their own copy, now you guys should be able to go in and look for my campaign. So here, I'll come over to your computer and let's see.
Let me see if I can figure it out.
Well, hey, I want to see too. So, marketing, yep.
Okay.
Go along with SMART campaign.
Let me figure it out.
Okay.
Okay, and then,
Up on the top, system libraries.
oh, it's session.
Yeah.
And then I just search for properties in the search bar.
Okay, thank God for that.
And the little black. That's there.
I got like this one machine where it's, they act like they own the house, but they live somewhere else and they want to do this area, and then they want to say that wine or much of
I have to make it available.
Oh,
except this one.
Because it's,
she's in California.
Was it not active?
no, it's active.
Nice conversation going.
It might just be my scope.
Well, I have electronic gremlins. So like you were clicking a button and it should have done what it was supposed to.
Yeah, no, and this is
But
the,
it doesn't do that for me. It doesn't.
okay, here we go. What was your name again?
Amy.
Amy. There we go.
That's me, yep.
Okay, next, finish. Okay,
Okay, so
now
now,
you can go back to your campaign.
So I can just go on videos.
property boost campaign. So it was created by me, but now you, what you do is you call it. So you're owning it. So all that says is instead of using the one I made, now this one is yours. It's only yours. And any edits you make are only going to affect your emails out. See what I mean? So you've started with my base emails. And then all you have to do is just do a little bit of personalization.
I'm enjoying walking outside. I want the sun to stay away.
So,
Thank you.
yeah, but it's
so much. That was huge.
and again, the biggest impediment I'd say with tackling this kind of stuff is getting over that initial point of, oh my God, it's so much work. You know, because it is a lot of work if you're starting from scratch without ever having clicked into any of this before. But if I were to take everyone here and at the end send out my default property boost campaign and put it all into your library, then the only task that you guys would have to do is just rewording, you know, what, 5 to 10 emails at the very most. You know, 3 or 4 texts, 3 or 4 emails, you reword it a little bit, and then again, this will automatically reach out to any of your property boost contacts in the future. It again only goes for 30 days, so you have within 30 days an idea of whether or not that contact is worth anything. You know, and if they're not, you could archive or delete them. You know, just because if you're trying to sift through all of your contacts and find out what you need to take action on, you know, what I can do here, I'm going to use you, Amy, as an example. Sure. Amy. Come on. Oh, it does not want, let me do it, there we go. So again, this narrows it down to your contacts, or it should.
I don't.
Stein. There we go.
Okay, there.
So again, right here, these are your contacts. So new lead, I think we looked at that one. That one was based on the phone number.
Yes.
But if we go to this guy, James Matson, it'll show national ad campaign activity, agent assigned, default new text. So this one would not have been grabbed by the property boost campaign,
Okay.
but it got grabbed by just the standard default buyer campaign.
Okay.
That it came in because you didn't work with them directly.
But I can edit that, right?
Yeah, we can go
So
in.
I clone it.
You clone it, and then
I edit.
you can edit your own verbiage for those smart campaigns in the future. So that's the thing that, again, the system is going to default so much that it can work against you just as much as it can work for you. The benefit is, though, once you've taken a bit of action on these smart campaigns and edited a little bit, you can set it and forget it. You won't have to revisit it. You won't have to come in periodically and change a bunch about it unless you find that it's not working at all. If, again, you've had it running for months and haven't had a single person respond to any of your property boost automated emails or texts, then yeah, maybe you have to change the verbiage. Maybe you have to switch it up. But again, if you're finding that you're getting a better hit rate back on your communications, then it's just a matter of letting the system keep handing you people from the property boost and working them in that way of, okay, did the property boost automated emails get them to respond? If so, slide them over to your active list of people you're trying to work with. And even if it's, maybe you don't call them every day, maybe it's every 2 weeks or every month you check in to see how things are going. You know, hey, I've been sending you search alerts. Is anything catching your eye? You know, again, I saw that you responded to my first email, but then you haven't responded since. Did you, you know, find a property? Are you working with another realtor? It's the, you sometimes have to take the automation and just hold its hand a little bit so that you can say, hey, I can take it from here, you know. And again, if you tell the person you're working with, hey, you might still get emails from me, but you know, if you have any questions, you can always feel free to call. It's the to the prospective new customer, they might say, hey, I know we talked earlier and then you sent me this email as if we hadn't talked. It's those kind of things that can rub one guy the wrong way and somebody else can just forget about it. You know, hey, we just talked earlier today, now you're sending me another email. It's those kind of things that I feel turn people off of smart campaigns, is they have that one client that says, hey, I got mad at it. And then they don't want to use it anymore. And I'm like, well, the person who got mad at it was going to get mad at something no matter what. You can't necessarily stop, you know, a client or a potential client from feeling like a number. But if you make a call or take action personally for them, you can work your way back into their good graces. And it's, again, you know, I'm solely focused on Property Boost as what is our reason for this person coming here. You know, I'm not going to use the same communication method for just some random person you might add in from your sphere. You know, sphere people, you know, I'm not going to use the same, hey, just checking in, are you looking, that kind of stuff. It's going to be, I want to strictly focus on something grabbed your eye about that property, whichever one it is. How can we help put more properties like that in front of you until we find the right one for you?
So in contacts, how do you assign what kind of, I mean, not like buyer or seller, but like sphere or, where is that?
So if you're adding a contact fresh, you add it at the point of setting them up. You know.
Yeah, but where does that, oh, there's.
Yep,
oh,
lead
there.
status.
Lead status.
But let's say this one, that number. Or I know Justin because he's a realtor I've worked with here.
Yeah, I know. I just put him in
So-
there because I didn't know what to do with this.
Oh, no, hey. So what we're going to do, we're going to use Justin as an example of what we do. So he's not a new lead. So we're going to change his status.
Okay, good, yeah.
And we're going to change him to sphere.
Okay.
Or it would be, what? There was I think, agent. Let's see. I'm going to save that in here for him. Okay. So there's Justin. And one thing I will say about BoldTrail is it does not automatically refresh right away. So if you make a change, don't get freaked out. Let's say you try to delete a contact and they're still there. You change something about them and it doesn't reflect immediately. The system has a little bit of a refresh lag where changes you make aren't instantly reflected within the system. But again, I changed his status type. And then if I were to go in here more, just to kind of click on to him, it would be, he is, yep, see now it shows sphere. And down here, agent.
Okay.
I know he's an agent.
Yes, he is, yep.
So that restricts the the system from looking at him as a
Buyer.
See, it even tried to give you tasks to reach out to him.
I know. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing.
And this is why, again, I feel like my biggest impediment is how much white noise is in this program. There's so much of like, I can't remember what her name was. She brought it up. Like, the impediment to BoldTrail is how cumbersome it is to get to what you need sometimes, and how really my goal is, okay, I don't need everyone to understand all the backside stuff. It's how do we accomplish enough that we're just solely, strictly trying to contact these Property Boost contacts who never get any contacts from Inside Real Estate or from RE/MAX. You know what? At my last training, Eric brought up, he pays for Property Boost for the company, and there was a data the Inside Real Estate gave him from the CEO that 3 to 5% of the contacts coming back from Property Boost were never contacted by any agent within RE/MAX. So he brought up 3 to 5%, if even a fraction of those turn into sales, that's a large amount of revenue that the company is missing out on. And for me, the smart campaign that I set up for you means that those people that are in your property boost are going to be contacted now. And they're going to have at least, 1 month of communications back and forth trying to grab their attention. And then so long as they respond positively to any of that, even if they don't respond to your text, but they start clicking on properties, you're going to get information about that. You're going to see the properties they're clicking at. You're going to see, okay, they went to my website. They clicked from the Property Boost address over to 3 other addresses. And now you have 3 or 4 addresses that person's looked at. So you could say, okay, this is kind of what's in their niche. And then just say, hey, you want to start going to look at some properties,
I'm curious, did you guys have conversations about how that data could be split?
Oh yeah, I totally.
Because of the cumbersome of
Yeah.
KV-Core, we went to Follow-Up Boss.
Yeah.
So a lead comes into KV-Core, it goes into Follow-Up Boss.
Yeah.
We contact them, KV-Core doesn't.
No,
see that.
doesn't know, and that's exactly what I told.
And I can tell you, like 80% of the team leaders have their teams set up on something else because of how cumbersome KV-Core is.
And I wish I could get in front of every realtor who thinks that, I can't work with it, it's too cumbersome, because within a one-on-one, by the end of, a 1-hour session, you're going to have a customized website, you're going to have a smart campaign geared towards the people you're trying to contact. We can
have that and still think it's cumbersome.
Yeah, oh no, but I mean, it's when I've gotten in front of people, it's not as cumbersome because they know I'm there. That it's, if you don't have a resource, if you don't have anyone to go to when you're stuck, yeah, it's going to be impossible to utilize. If we can simply break it down to like, okay, what can you do on a daily basis in BoldTrail? I would just say, if you're going to not even use any of the automation or any of the smart part of BoldTrail, but you want to just leverage it, log in or add it on your phone and just look at your activity tab every couple days. The activity tab is what, on your main website or your main page when you log into BoldTrail, brings you here. Scroll down to your dashboard. Yours will default to your own, what was your name? Mitch. I'm going to find you, Mitch, so we can look at what yours looks like. Come on.
Is activity different than tasks?
Tasks, I'm hoping more and more to eliminate, because I don't think the vast majority of realtors have enough time to come in and track all of their tasks in BoldTrail. It makes them feel bad that they're missing stuff, and I try to remove it because I don't want a realtor being like, the system says I'm bad, so I'm not going to use you. Like that part of context that, started showing up, this big red bar at the top that says how many people you're contacting. You brought up data not being good. I don't want it to show me data if it's going to make a realtor feel like they're not doing what they're supposed to. But this, right here, individual tactical firearms. I'd be happy to send you all the broker, my credentials as well, blah, 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 blah.
He's trying to sell us training.
Yeah. So again, you would probably want to go remove that person, because again, it's white noise in your BoldTrail that's preventing you from maybe seeing the people that are important. So again, this Teresa, that flame right there means that she's visiting your website a lot, or visiting BoldTrail a lot. And then again, you would just click off of, the dashboard if you want to go into her. And then if you're trying to figure out, okay, before I try to pick up the phone and make a call to her, can I get just enough information from BoldTrail to start out that conversation? And it would just be, I would just use this, see Property Boost. Interested in Minnetonka with 2 beds and 2 baths around 184. Signed up 2 years ago and was active 3 days ago. So she's been visiting for a long time. Hasn't found anything though. Why is that? I'm sure as a realtor, there are probably a lot of reasons for it, but it's just on March 16th, she clicked on this property. Could we use just this property alone as the conversation starting point? Or maybe you don't make a call, but you send her an email or you send her a text. And it's, just, hey, I noticed you looked at this property. Do you want to set up a time to go look at it in person? Do you want to set up a time to meet for coffee and talk about your, what you're interested in this market? The automation I brought up is just so that if you're busy, you don't forget to come and check and see them and get them a message before somebody else does. Because with these property boosts, you're not the only one necessarily getting them in your contact list.
Right.
I want to make sure that, again, if they're an active person, that our company, and maybe not even our company, but the agents I'm working with get the sale, not the agents I'm not working with. Because at the end of the day, if I'm going to go to the hires up of this company and bring up what my value is or how I can assist, I want to be able to use the data from, okay, before we met, this is how many sales you were getting through BoldTrail, this is all that, and after, this is the data. And then we can go off of, okay, you're now getting a hit rate of 20% on your property boost emails. That's probably way more than it's going to be, but if you were getting a hit rate of 0% before, hey, that's a big enough difference that at the end of the year or the end of a couple of years, you're going to have a net benefit from our work together. And again, I don't have to work with you every day. I don't have to work with you every month. All we have to do is get the initial steps set up so that you can forget about it and go back to your regular daily, day-to-day. And while I feel sometimes talking to a room this big, I don't get through to anyone because everyone's coming from their different perspective and with different impediments standing in the way. But I'm more geared towards how do we just make sure that these people that are looking for houses don't end up going somewhere else because they aren't feeling taken care of or they aren't feeling like someone cares about their home search. And I don't care if we actually care about their home search. I just want to appear like we care. I want to give them the impression that we've taken a personal or made a personal effort towards them, because at that point that they respond, it's at that point then we can, make a value proposition for them and bring them into the RE/MAX umbrella and use all of our other tools to get them, in front of houses, get them in front of lenders, and get them to a closed sale. As again, I hear about it all the time from people I now, work with in my sphere who are looking for houses, how they don't necessarily feel taken care of. And I was, talking to a friend a couple months ago about it, and I was like, so you're working with a realtor and you don't feel like they care and you don't feel like they're really doing anything. Why are you still working with them? Well, because I haven't found someone else yet. It's that kind of crap where there are a lot of dissatisfied people right now that are working with realtors and not getting any sort of real help. And you don't have to do a lot to get them over to working with you, unless, again, it's somebody who has a signed contract and all that crap. But just someone just browsing, websites and kind of doing that initial searching, just enough personal touch will get them reaching out to you, will get them clicking on your links, and again, coming back to you instead of the next person. So again, if you want to just take one thing from this to do every couple days, I would probably say download the mobile app on your phone, because if you think about it, BoldTrail sometimes sends you text messages when you get a new lead. It doesn't always notify everyone effectively because of that. If you get the mobile app, you can just set up notifications where the app notifies you of a new lead coming in, so you don't have to go check your email. All you have to do is look at your BoldTrail notifications on your phone and say, hey, I got a new property boost lead.
With the new BoldTrail app, does it do, does it log you out every time? Because like the old TV Core app, every time I would open it, I would have to log back in, which
My phone
ineffective.
should be automatic. So if you set up the BoldTrail app and log in on your phone, it will permanently be logged in on your phone unless you remove the app and add it again. Because you're not logging in at a browser. It's literally the BoldTrail app off of the App Store, and then you're just using your, first dot last name at therealestateadvantage.com. And I mean, the admins are in the room, so the primary password for most of you guys is, I think, your first name, 123 exclamation point. Like, I'm pretty sure you guys have a standardized username password, but again, if you get stuck, we'll get you in. Either
we're not using the KV Core platform app anymore.
KV Core rebranded, so BoldTrail is KV Core.
So
Right, but
they basically look like the same now.
They are. It's just though I don't want Inside Real Estate to cut off access to KV Core, and then you guys are stranded because eventually they rip the Band-Aid off and just turn off the old system.
So with the tasks in the app, like
Yep.
I just went through
And cleared them all?
deleted all of my overdue tasks, but now in the app it says I have 900
Yep.
tasks.
And it's because the system had all those tasks set up by default that I've worked individually to try to remove as much as I can. But since the tasks are created, long ago for all these agents, I'm more looking at ending the tasks and then moving forward. So we'd clear out all your old tasks, and then on our smart campaigns that we're utilizing, we just remove the tasks from the list of activities that it's requiring us to do.
Right, so I just did that, but my question is, I did it on the computer, but on the app, it still says I have.
And
900
the-
tasks.
the-
Is there just like a delay?
The app is delayed. I found that the app doesn't necessarily have the exact same functionality where you can mass clear your tasks on the computer, but when it comes to the app, it's tracking them more individually on the contact, where, again, it's a very nuanced thing about KV Core BoldTrail that it just puts way too much white noise in there. That
So do I need to clear a task both on the app and on
I
computer?
I wouldn't even worry about clearing your tasks. You're going to spend more time clearing them than you're ever going to get anything done in BoldTrail. It just is there's no easy method to wipe them all out, other than, again, if you're on your dashboard, so right down here in tasks, this is probably where you went and removed most of them.
Yes.
That's the only place you can really take mass action. But again, until I can get enough leverage to remove them carte blanche across the company, we're playing whack-a-mole at the end.
But my question still is, do I have to remove them also from the app?
You should not have to. And
Eventually they'll disappear because I removed.
because we're removing them from the smart campaign.
Okay.
So removing them from the smart campaign prevents future tasks from being created.
To syndicate to the app.
Okay. That's-
Yeah,
that
that
was
would
my
do that
question.
on the browser, or whatever. If, I would check back, maybe give it.
Yeah,
more.
and it has refresh issues. There's also even more nuance where there's broad tasks, and then individually on each contact, there's tasks that even go beyond what the main screen might show you. So you see on my screen, I have no tasks up here, but if I were to click into one of the contacts, oh, maybe it's because I have AB listed. There we go. There. Where it shows tasks on the contact level that aren't referenced on the more general level. And while you can go in here and click done, you're going to have too many contacts to go do that for everyone. I don't think it's an effective use of most agents' time to go in and have to track all of the activity directly in BoldTrail. The only way this would eventually be easier is if everyone utilized their smart number for all communications. where BoldTrail, what it wants you to do, if I'm thinking from the company standpoint, it wants everyone to use BoldTrail to call people, BoldTrail to email people. You should never pick up your cell phone and call them. You should never email them from your own separate email, because BoldTrail doesn't know about it. It wants everything in-house so that, again, it's getting all of your data as well as all of the data for the customers. Yeah.
When you call from the system,
Yep.
it knows your phone number, like that's what comes up on the caller ID when you call someone?
It does like a third-party call, where
Oh,
if you
gross.
were to, yes, and I
Yes,
don't like
no.
it breaks. I had my car think I had a BoldTrail call for 3 months. Every time I turned my car on, I got a call as if BoldTrail was trying to call my phone. I stopped using it after that. And again, I wish I could be the cheerleader of inside real estate, saying they have all their ducks in a row and this company knows what's going on. They don't. I might be going a bit too far and saying that, the chicken running around with their head cut off, but sometimes that's their company. They're acting without all the data. They're thinking that if they can standardize all these contact points, that the data that BoldTrail gets, their predictive analytics are going to get better and better. But I feel like they're losing track of the fact that the second you have a negative experience with this, all of your goodwill is gone. All of your goodwill to that customer is gone if you mess up their phone. All of your goodwill to that customer is gone if you're trying to use the system and the person's like, hey, I keep getting these random calls from random numbers and I don't like it. Even if it's you, to the customer, they might be like, I'm getting these random calls, I'm getting these random text messages, and we don't want that. We want it to seem like you're taking a real interest in them when you call. But when it comes to tracking, because we're not trying to use their built-in system that I don't feel is effective enough or secure enough from a technical standpoint to not have glitches, then it's acting like you're not doing stuff, because there isn't an integration between your cell phone and BoldTrail to know all the calls that you're making. The future is all the AI does this for us. Your phone has BoldTrail. The app. The BoldTrail app on your phone tracks all of the calls you make from your cell phone. That is, again, if I was the programmer behind Inside Real Estate, that's how I would integrate it. Where every agent should have BoldTrail on their phone. As a result of having BoldTrail on your phone, any email or text message you send from your phone is then tracked within the system. They just don't have good enough programmers to set that up effectively yet. So, but I don't want you spending all your time going and clearing contacts or clearing tasks from contacts where you spend more time clearing the task than it took you to make the call, than it took you to actually help that person.
So other than turning off where it defaults to create 10 calls for you every day,
Yep.
other than turning that off, is there any other way to just not have it do the task?
I have a training or a one-on-one with Inside Real Estate next week about that specifically. That my goal is, how do I take the things that I'm getting back from individual realtors and be able to solve before they bring it to me? How do I make sure that, again, these campaigns that we're offering, we're only offering ones that are effective for our agents? Because Inside Real Estate says this is the most effective smart campaign and this is the most effective messaging. I disagree. I disagree fundamentally that they understand the market well enough to tell every realty company nationwide the right way to message people. We're in a market that is different from other markets. We're at the point where, again, in Minnesota, you might, again, that Minnesota nice thing, you can turn people off up here by just sort of being like, oh, well, we're just going to treat you guys like a number like in the East Coast or the West Coast, where, again, the number of realtors and the number of people looking for properties means that they don't have to put as much personal touch into those sales. And for me, if there is a way, and I'm going to ask them this, to take a agent and just start them fresh. And I mean that just from a task standpoint. if I can clear them out as of the day I start working with them, so that going forward, not clearing out their contacts list, but essentially the tasks, again, the things that the system acts like the realtors have never been doing, realtors might never even logged into BoldTrail. So if your first time logging in is 3 months later, you're going to have all those tasks from all those people that got added to you that you never saw. And it honestly feels like a half hour of just clearing stuff out.
I mean, if they could honestly just add a button on the task
Yeah.
window that just says delete all,
Yeah.
that would be super.
They have a delete all button, but
Well,
it doesn't
it's one
affect
at a time.
all of it. You have to make sure to specify how many you're grabbing. You have to click. Again, I agree with you that the one button wipe is what we need, so that, again, when I'm telling agents, okay, if you go into BoldTrail and you click in, these are the things I want you to do in 15 minutes. Look at your list of people who've looked at your properties in the past week. Look at if anyone has sent you a text that you might not have, responded to. Again, right there, Mitch, by day 14, you could say, okay, I'm going to get rid of that individual tactical firearms guy because I don't want him muddying up my dashboard. You could look at your hot people. So Saring, Chodan, Teresa, and Rob, the 3 people that are clicking at properties. And again, just say, hey, I'm going to go into contacts. I'm going to search for you, Mitch, so that it'll bring up your people. Mitch. And then the last visit, I'm just sorting so I can grab the people who've been here most recently. So we got Teresa, we got Rob, and Saring. So those were your 3 hot ones. And then you could do in more actions, or right there, just essentially a email or a text. And then just text these people, just send a check-in message.
Now wait, where does the text come from? A random number?
It will come from your smart number. So your smart number inside real estate is when you go into your, you'll just see it up in the top right when you click up there.
If
But
somebody calls the smart number, then do I get the message?
Yep.
Yes,
Okay.
yep, and everybody's assigned a smart number automatically, and there is no way around that.
Yep. And that's the reason why most of the automation within BoldTrail is limited, because they have not figured out a way to integrate a user's cell phone, which is 99.9% the way an agent is going to communicate with any prospective contacts, directly into BoldTrail. It's, I think the future of it, honestly, if I was their programmer, it wouldn't be more than probably a month of programming just to add in the tie-in for the app and say, okay, add the app on your phone, ask for permissions to check your contact list. If it has that permission to check your contact list, it can then track your calls within the system that you make. Again, I could write that in a week, and I'm not even a programmer, and that would be all it needs to remove the impediment behind calls that you're making not coming into the system and reflecting. Where you've made calls to clients that I'm sure it says you've never called before. That will change if, again, I can get through to them and get them to integrate things that work on their own without having an agent have to, okay, I made a call, now I have to go click a button that I made a call. There's not enough time in the day to make a call and then go click a button every time you've made that call. So again, your smart number is usually tied to your office. So if you're primarily out of one of the offices, the office has a smart number as well. But if you want to look at yours, it's right there. At the top of your profile, right underneath your name, should be your smart number. And you see mine is 392-8750 because I'm listed as part of the Savage office. So I'd say yours is probably the same, right?
We all have our own unique smart number.
So even though that's the Savage smart number and it doesn't, 392. It looks like it's the same one.
Yeah.
You have to like pay extra for your own smart number.
That's what I thought. I thought the individualized smart numbers require you to pay for them.
I'll look into that. I think it is my opposite. You can like create your own keywords, so you can like have people text.
Yeah.
Like I have it set up where people can text like various things to this number.
Yeah, I know we have, it's way more complicated, but
It-
it's an easy.
And this is why I don't recommend people utilize it, because the BoldTrail side can get really glitchy. And it's because it's voice over IP. If you've ever heard that, voice over IP isn't like a cellular call. It's an online network call. And network calls get funky because it starts an internet, communication protocol. It sends you, hey, I'm going to call this client. It sends the client a call, and then it has to connect all the parties and not lose them. And all it takes is a momentary latency lag, and suddenly you have an agent without the client getting a call where no one's on the other end. Again, I told you, my car had a call for 2 months nearly, where every time I turned the damn thing on, it was popping up my smart number call. And there wasn't an active call, but you know what it did? It made my audio in my car not work. And I could blame Audi just as much as I can blame Inside Real Estate, but it doesn't give someone a good feeling when those things happen. So I feel like it's gotten better. I've tried it a little bit since then, but that's why I don't use the call feature as much. I use the text feature. But it's not something you necessarily have to use, because if, again, I get it to remove tasks and you're just logging in and looking at people and making sure, maybe you aren't going to, reach out to your people, via BoldTrail, but if okay, hey, I sent a text to Teresa, I sent a text to Rob, I sent a text to Sarah, and then you answered that question for that guy in your dashboard, 15 minutes, you can move on, go back to the rest of your stuff. That's what you would get out of BoldTrail in that. That's all you need to do. Your smart campaign, if we set up your property boost one, that's just running in the background. You don't have to go and edit it after you've kind of changed your verbiage a little bit. You're just checking in to see, okay, did I get any bites? For the fishing analogy. Did I get any bites on my automated messaging? So,
I have another question.
Yeah.
So I have a spreadsheet going of people that I want to put in here. Is there an import or?
Yep. So, but there's an issue with the import. Well,
You can actually have, Inside Real Estate will do it if you just go to the chat button and ask
Yeah.
them to do it. They
Yep.
will import it for you.
yeah, but I mean there's an issue, not from a technical standpoint. The issue is, because of law changes, there is a reason you cannot text your,
Well, I'm probably not going to text.
you're not going to use text, then an import would work, because it's the demarcation. If you plan to use text message communication as your primary method of communicating with those imported individuals, the system will mark them all as opted out of text communication by default. It'll say you can't text them until they've opted in, but you can email them.
Well, these specific people, all their phone numbers are invalid anyway, and all I have is email. So.
Then you're safe to do. So it's actually not that bad. Yeah, go ahead.
Rounding out today, I would say if you still have questions on contacts, do a one-on-one with Todd. He will
Yeah.
break down everything. He will
How
help
do we
you
go
with
about
smart campaigns.
scheduling?
We'll
Oh,
do something
just,
on the
I'll show you. So I have a booking page, calendar. So I have to edit my hours a little bit, but I set up these blocks of time already, just kind of on my Google page. And then, again, if somebody were to go and click one, let's say Monday, it just sends me an email saying somebody wants a meeting. And then when I get the email, I ask you, how do you want to meet? Do you want to meet in person? Do you want to meet remotely? And that's really all it is you schedule it, it sends me an email.
Wait, how did we get in
I will send it all to you. Or what I could do is, I had it on my website at some point and it disappeared.
I also have his link and I'll just put it in our Facebook group.
Yep.
Easy for you to just click
Yeah.
on it then.
Because-
Let's just do that.
You know, for me, I made this just because I didn't want to have to be like, hey, I'm busy this time or that kind of time. For me, I can go in and unless my kid has a doctor's appointment, I can edit my hours so that there's not available slots on a day where I'm not available. And it also eventually will provide visibility to the other admins, like, okay, who am I working with? How many appointments am I having each month? Again, it just gives you a way to, again, grab one. Now, these aren't my only times. These are just the times that I set up when I created the page, probably, 3 or 4 months ago. And now I also have times on Monday afternoon and Tuesday afternoon in that 2:30 to 4:30 window. And again, I like the Bloomington office. It's close for me, but I also have thought about doing periodic visits to all these regional offices where you guys might work out of. Orono, Minnetonka, the satellite offices, and then just maybe once a month, once every other month, I just show up on some day, I sit down with my laptop and start working, and if you guys have questions, you come to me and we answer them. Or I take these big trainings and I try to break it up into a small group where we can do this. Hey, I'm stuck on something. Let's work through it for you so that any other realtor with the same issue, we work through it from step 1 to the end. I want to make a landing page. I want to edit my website. I want to, figure out how to take a video and integrate it into my website like this. These little things that, to me, I can do in a minute. It's breaking it down, going through it step by step with people, and then leaving you with a guide, either a paper one, a video one, or whatever method you use, so that you can take it home and then follow that the next time you have to do it. The biggest thing though is I just want people to be able to log in and not get upset that the system says you're not doing stuff. Get upset that, oh, I missed this person and now they went somewhere else. Again, there's so much white noise that if you could just log in, on your side, Mitch, see those people that are looking at stuff, make sure you send off your emails to them, and then just, again, check back in a few days, see if they got any responses,
I don't care what the system tells me, I know my truth.
Yeah, and you're going to know it better.
Yeah.
The only time the system's going to know better is if you haven't talked to them yet.
Yeah.
But, I will say the system will know better, though, the more people visit, what they're looking at. Where somebody might say they want certain houses, but then let's say it's me and my wife. I say I want this, and then you go and see what she's clicking on, and she's clicking on all different stuff. Well, those two might not be on the same page then. And you can see that in the data. You can see, hey, he told me he wasn't looking for anything over 300,000, and his wife's clicking at properties at 450. Is it because she doesn't like the houses at 300? Is there something else? And it will give you back data. I'll go to Saring. Again, I hate those tasks. But again, it will show you. So he came in initially on,
Years ago.
oh, so he's been looking for a while.
We have several in there that are 4 to 5 years old.
Okay.
And they're still active.
Yeah. Oh, and I've seen converted.
I will say that I've had success, like I was telling Kelly while she was still here, while I was in labor with her daughter, Katie Core at the time was texting with a prospect, and we ended up listing their house, ended up selling it to our clients, and then selling them another house, and the system set this appointment, and we had a baby, and we got home, and I was like, oh, we have a listing appointment coming up. So
Yeah, and I mean,
pretty cool.
I like the fact that you can get more people coming in and get more sales than you might have otherwise, just given that, what was it? What was the thing that you think got that person? Was it the listing, you sold them that house and then helped them, or you helped them sell their house and then buy a different one?
Yeah.
So
It's just on there her looking at houses, and it texted her like, hey, I see you're on my website, do you have
Yeah.
any questions? And then it carried on a whole conversation with her, and then
So it wasn't the concierge though. It was this.
I haven't like paid for any of the texting stuff. It was like behavioral texts or something.
Oh,
It was
behavioral
about-
alerts. Yeah.
It was about 4 or 5 years ago.
So that is, and I could probably spend 3 hours, if I can type behavioral automation. This is exactly what you're talking about. Lead revisits after 14 days. Lead visits the site 5 times in the last week. So it's these criteria that then set up an if-then. If they do this, then we're going to do something else. And a lot of these are defaulted, so I'm glad the default worked for you. But it's the future of BoldTrail is all their automation is, can they take this away from us? Can they do all of this without a realtor getting involved until the end? You know, because again, to me, AI can sell a house just as well as a person if the customer does not realize they're dealing with AI. You know, and where are we going to fit in that niche if AI tries to put us all out of business? You know, and I'm not worried today about that, but I'd say within my lifetime, AI is going to try to put all of us out of business, given from just a scale and a economics standpoint. That if BoldTrail can keep these people themselves, if they're competing with us, thank God Inside Real Estate isn't trying to sell houses directly like what Zillow would. You know, I just don't want to give all of our power over to this system when, again, they're not always working just for us. You know, they have their own interests, they have their own desires and goals. But, you know, for me, it's, you brought it up, so we would want to look at, okay, is there something that worked great about that behavioral alert so that we can maybe say, maybe we don't want to wait for it to, you know, view a property 3 times. Maybe we want to do it after 2. Maybe we want to say if the lead viewed the 5 properties in the week, we wanted to do something. This is beyond smart campaigning. This is more based on tracking that user on the website. You know, the smart campaign is much more like, hey, are they a property boost? We're going to send some emails. So, but, oh, well, thank you all for sticking around.
Yeah.
I honestly feel like I could probably have gone for another 3 hours and
I
still
know.
not gotten anywhere.
I mean, there's a lot to dive into, but definitely segmenting to one specific thing every time as much as we can, and then scheduling a one-on-one with him on those things after the meeting.
And even like one thing, contacts is one thing, but it ties into everything else in order to get its stuff done.
Yeah, but I did put his booking page right on Facebook. I pinned it up at the top.
Yep. And if again,
Do it and then click 60 minutes and you can schedule it.
yep. And then all I'll do is I'll see it, I'll respond to you via email, or again, you know, usually what I would have is, see, my issue is if somebody signs up, I hope they sign up from their own email and not from the BoldTrail email they don't use, so that I get back to them. I don't think I've had much issues with that, but if again you schedule a session and I can't get a hold of you, I'm going to call Miranda and get your number. Yep.
Very helpful.
Well, thank you.